Wojak was tired of his life moving at a snail's pace. At 30, he felt like he was stuck while everyone else zoomed past him. He had a decent job, a modest apartment, and friends, but deep down, he wanted more. The ordinary life wasn't for him. He craved something bigger, something extraordinary. Dreams of fast cars, lavish parties, and a life of luxury filled his mind, and the frustration of being average gnawed at him every day. One Friday night, Wojak was at a bar with his best friend, Jason. The two had known each other since college, and Jason was always the voice of reason in Wojak's life. Wojak spilled out his thoughts over a beer, venting his frustration with how slow everything seemed. "I want to make it big, Jason. I'm sick of being another face in the crowd," Wojak said, his voice filled with desperation. Jason, as usual, tried to be the practical one. "Wojak, I get it. But remember, there's no easy way up. Fast money comes with risks you can't imagine. You need patience. Don't ruin your life chasing after shortcuts." But Wojak was already too focused on his dreams to listen. That night, Jason's words went in one ear and out the other. He didn't want to be held back by caution. He wanted action. A few days later, fate seemed to answer his call. At a high-energy, exclusive party, Wojak met Tony, a man who looked like he had everything Wojak wanted: money, status, and confidence. Tony exuded charisma, and his talk of fast money and investment opportunities sounded like the answer to Wojak's dreams. Tony hinted at high-return investments and urged Wojak to take a chance. The returns sounded unbelievable, and Tony made it clear: "You can play it safe and stay broke, or you can take a risk and make it big. Life's short, Wojak." For Wojak, it was tempting, too tempting. Ignoring Jason's words of caution, he decided to take the plunge. He borrowed money from friends, maxed out his credit cards, and even took out a personal loan. His mind was consumed with thoughts of the wealth he'd soon have, the life he'd finally get to live. For a brief moment, it seemed like he had made the right choice. His bank account grew, and he felt like he was on top of the world. He quit his job, convinced that this was the start of a new chapter. Nights were filled with parties, dinners, and celebrations. He began distancing himself from his friends, feeling like they were holding him back from the big league. But as quickly as it had started, his dream began to fall apart. The investments turned sour, and returns became smaller and more irregular. Panic started setting in, but Tony assured him it was just a temporary setback. Wojak clung to those words, ignoring the signs around him. Then one day, Tony vanished. His phone went unanswered, and his office was empty. Wojak's heart pounded as he realized he was alone in this mess, with nothing to show for the thousands he had borrowed. The illusion of easy money shattered before his eyes, leaving him to face the harsh reality of his situation. Debt collectors began calling, demanding payment. His friends who had lent him money grew frustrated and demanded their loans back. Wojak's once thriving life was crumbling, and he found himself trapped. He reached out to Jason, but even Jason struggled to feel sympathy after so many ignored warnings. "I tried to tell you, Wojak. This isn't the life you build overnight," Jason said, his disappointment clear. Wojak's daily life became a nightmare. He started drinking heavily to numb the pain, spending hours staring at his phone, dreading the next call. His landlord threatened eviction, and he had to sell his car to make partial payments. The shame and guilt weighed on him. The friends he once had were gone, and his dreams of success now seemed like a cruel joke. One night, Wojak returned to his empty apartment after a long, aimless walk through the city. He collapsed on his bed, overwhelmed with regret. He felt like he had destroyed everything that mattered, chasing something that had never been real. His confidence, once so high, was now shattered, replaced with a hollow emptiness. As he lay there, something deep inside him shifted. He realized he couldn't keep running. The path he'd chosen had led him to ruin, but he wasn't ready to give up on life entirely. He knew it would be an uphill battle, but he was ready to take responsibility, and start fresh. The next day, Wojak met Jason, who, despite everything, agreed to help him find work and begin paying off his debts. It was a humbling experience, but Wojak knew it was the only way forward. He took on multiple jobs, worked long hours, and slowly started to rebuild his life. The road was hard, but each day he learned the value of patience and perseverance. Wojak's journey taught him the painful truth he had once ignored. Real success doesn't come from shortcuts or empty promises. It comes from hard work and resilience. The life he had tried to cheat his way into was now